Very nice. Hello, this is Joseph Zutton. What does the Boston Tea Party, December 16th, 1773, have to do with the events of 2025? Well, in the United States today, we do have some people who claim that foreign governments pay tariffs into the U.S. Treasury to allow their country's goods to come into the United States. This is absolutely false. In fact, we do have some people in the administration saying that they are sending letters to foreign governments to let them know what the new tariffs are going to be that they will have to pay the United States Treasury to allow their products in. Totally false. Importers pay import tariffs. They either absorb the tariff or they pass it on to the consumer in the way of higher prices. This then is inflationary. That's how it works. The higher the tariff in the end, the higher the prices to the consumer in the United States and the more inflation. Exporting goods to Canada from the United States, the U.S. government does not pay tariffs into the Canadian Treasury to allow U.S. products to enter Canada. The Canadian importer pays those tariffs. Now, there are a few exceptions to the importer paying the tariffs. There seem to be exceptions just about everything, and I have another video for you drilling down deeper. I'll put the link to that up here at the very end. So the Boston Tea Party. We learned about it in grade school, and each year that we study history, we got into that and other events a little deeper. By the time we got to high school, we were studying it in more detail than before. We should all know very clearly the story about the people of Massachusetts having a committee that threw the tea into the bay, because the people of Massachusetts were tired of paying the tariffs that were required to be paid for the tea to be imported into Massachusetts. Those tariffs went back to the English government. They were not upset about the idea that the English government was paying too much money into the Massachusetts Treasury to allow their goods to enter Massachusetts. That's the exact opposite, and that's not the way it worked. So if we study the Boston Tea Party even in grade school, it should be quite clear tariffs are paid on the importing side. Now, the other video I mentioned goes into a great deal of detail on the subject of tariffs. If you want, you can look at just the first of the 3 parts and it will give you a good overview. Or you can examine all 3 parts and go in deeper if you choose to. Entirely up to you. Thank you for joining me today. Outstanding.